Chapter 4. Get up, Peter. Put your clothes on. His father was shaking him. The lights were lit. The clock on the mantel showed it was after midnight. Dress warmly, too. We're going out. Out? Out where? Peter found it hard to understand why he would be going out after midnight. Come on, dress quickly. I'll tell you as we go. Have the Germans come then? He asked. No, of course not. It was only that idea of Uncle Victor's. Oh, you mean the Defense Club? Peter guessed. Defense Club? His father seemed to have forgotten about that, although Peter had told him that very afternoon. Yes, we formed a defense club. Every boy and girl in the school is supposed to take orders from me. I'm the president. Peter, will you hurry? We have no time to talk about things like that. We've come a long distance to get to you because we've just had word that the time is getting very short. Peter remembered that his father had gone out after supper that night, as he had one other night, in haste and clearly troubled. Now he had come back for him, Peter. They strapped on their skis at the door in the light from the house. Aren't you going to take your flashlight, Father? I have it here, but I won't use it unless I have to. Spies, Father? We can't be too careful. The success of what we're doing depends on secrecy. His father had lowered his voice, inviting caution, and Peter spoke softly in reply. Are any of the others from school coming? Will Michael be there? No, Peter, only you. Why is that, Father? You were appointed head of the defense club. You were just telling me. So his father had understood after all. It will be up to you to lead the others where we're going. That's why I'm taking you tonight. Peter's face was grave, as if there had been anyone in the dark, if there had been anyone to see it in the dark of the deserted town. So I want you to watch where you're going, and remember how to get back if you have to. Later tonight, you'll be taken to a certain part of the woods. I want you to know just where it is and how to get there without me or anyone else showing you. Yes, Father, I'll watch. I think I can remember. I know you can, Peter. You spent a lot of your life in the woods. I'm counting on your wood sense to help. They were now outside the town. The trail led north to Rabbit Mountain. In the dark, Peter could see little of the track on which his skis slipped, but the hard tread told him it was a well-traveled path. They climbed with the aid of their poles, and now and again would dig their runners into the hard snowbanks to walk up steps sideways. But Peter and his father were well used to this kind of travel. They could talk as easily as if they were strolling in the town square. What did Uncle Victor mean about us going on our sleds to the Snake? It was his first real chance to ask his father about the thing that was uppermost in his thoughts. Well, it's like this, Peter. There's a good deal of gold in Norway, more than we'd like to have fall into the hands of an enemy, especially one that might use it to make war on us. So we've decided to guard it with our lives. It isn't the gold itself so much. It's the fact that it may be used to bring death to the very people to whom it belongs. You're afraid of a German invasion, Father? Well, that's the tale that Victor brought back from Oslo. When you came home and said he had returned, I knew that only one thing would bring him back at this time, and that his country was in danger. But I didn't want you to know about it then. Today, however, other things have happened. Foreign mine layers have been sighted off our coast. There's little use trying to hide something that may have to be faced. They're building air raid shelters all over the south, Peter said. Yes, and they're taking other precautions too. All this week, a Treasury official has been at the bank. He believes that the best way to safeguard our people is to put our wealth beyond the reach of those who would use it to do us harm. Other countries have been sending their gold to the United States for safekeeping. That's what we want to do too, if it can be managed. Peter could hardly believe this was real life, and that it was he and his father who were talking and not two characters in a book or a film. His father was going on, and though his tones were the calm, even ones of his ordinary speaking voice, Peter still had to struggle with a feeling of unreality. There may not be time to safeguard all the gold in the Bank of Norway this way, Mr. Lundstrom spoke confidentially. To do so involves a good deal of care. Each of the places where the gold can be hidden has to be inspected by trusted people in the government. The Treasury official came here first of all and had a long list of other places to visit. But even if he doesn't get to the other towns, good care will be taken of the rest of the money because it's a staggering sum, bullion worth hundreds of millions of kroner. And Uncle Victor will take it on his boat? Peter asked. What we have here, if we can get it to the boat in time. So what are we supposed to take it down the mountain? So we are supposed to take it down the mountain on our sleds. If there's an enemy in our country, there's no other way to get it out. You children would never be suspected, but the men wouldn't be allowed to load so much as a pound. Well, why don't you send it away before the enemy comes? Because the British and French are mining our coasts, laying miles and miles of explosive in the sea. A ship that would stray in their direction would be blown to bits, so Uncle Victor has to wait until he can find out something about their location. Why, it would be suicide to sail until he does. That's why we have to hide the gold in the cave. Cave? Peter blinked. What cave?